Howdy YouTube, and welcome to another episode of the Gunman Raw. So today we've got a pretty straightforward job, but something a little bit different. We don't do matte finishes here on the channel that often. We've done a few in the past, but I thought I'd take this opportunity to do another video for you guys. So this job here, there was a few scratches in the bonnet and quite a few stone chips too. So I sanded them out like this. The scratches, they came out in the clear. They were sort of down here, but then all these little white spots around here, you may not be able to see them because they are quite small, but they're the bigger two. And then there was sort of little ones here, there, and everywhere around the bonnet. So I'm gonna have to color most of the bonnet. However, I'm gonna try and save the blends for the most part, but I did notice one little cut through just there. That was actually in my prep work. But for some reason, I've had it happen before on these, I didn't think it's a Kia. I think, yeah, it's a Kia. Santa Fe or Hyundai Santa Fe. They're really hard to sand. There's something about that clear that they put on. It's like, I don't know if they put, say, a coating over the top of it, but I must have used 20 or 30 pieces of 500 grit to sand that down, and then a further 10 or 15 800 grit. Yeah, really bad to clog the sandpaper up. I don't know what it is. I couldn't get it off either. Like, I thinned, prep soled, water cleaned, used everything that I could think of to pre-clean it. Another thing worth noting is we've got to get it right the first time. There's no polishing on matte finishes. So yeah, what I'm going to do here, I'm doing the standard 3-coat Envirobase, but what I want to do is put some base coat blender down, which is just T490 with 20% thinners in it. Another little cut through. How funky is that colour? I love it. So yeah, that's going to dry down completely clear. I love that colour, the blue. Let's crank the temperature up a bit. Well, the burner's not even on. Go up to 30. It's actually a pretty warm day today. Spent a little bit extra time today sort of cleaning myself down, brand new set of gloves, because like I say, that's the only chance we've got. So I'll give you a look at the color while we're waiting for that to flash. I did spray out both colors, including the clear, because you've got to match not just the color but the gloss level of the clear coat as well. I do have a few pre-sprayed out, so that's like, when I'm looking at that, I'm just looking at the gloss level, not so much looking at the color. But that's an FC2, and I've got another FC3 on some of these other colors there. This is the color that I've done in the past, and I had that the same issue with the sanding. That was another Hyundai. Oh no, that's a Nissan. It says BMW down there as well. But yeah, maybe this would have been it actually. Yeah. But either way, this color here, if you're wondering what the color code is, I can't see why anyone would want to use that color. It's a pretty horrid color if you ask me. I would not want to color my car that color. YBM's the color code. And so I sprayed this one out first, and the color wasn't that great. But what I did notice is that the metallic was a little bit too standing up. It's like pinging at you, right? The flake was a bit coarse. So what happens is when you put the 491 in, that sort of lifts and separates the metallic, so it makes it sort of stand up. That's why actually on the second variant, I dropped it out and I thought, look, I can spray it out, and if it needs more, I can always add it in. And it turns out, look, it didn't need it, and that's the variant that we went for. So yeah, the gloss level looks like it's gone down nice and sort of nice and matte, which is exactly what we're looking for. But the other strange thing about these mattes is if you go like a little bit heavier with the matte clear, it'll go shinier. So you do have to be careful to get that application the same as the spray out cards. So this is another thing I've got here, which is a humidity and temperature gauge. So as you can see there, 29 degrees, low humidity, 36. That's not very high. And it's good to have those gauges because, I mean, I would have guessed that it would have been higher. Like, it's a bit of a cloudy day out there today, a little bit overcast. So it's good to have the objective data there. You can't argue with that, can you? So yeah, just on the prep work, I just buzzed it with 500. And like I say, I must have gone through about 20 sheets because it was just like, bang, you get a little spot done, clogs up and starts pigtailing. Bang, bang, bang. Because what I like to do with my prep is sort of knock that top layer of orange peel out, the factory peel, just so that you're starting fresh on a new sort of surface. And when, like, once the sandpaper's gone, it's gone, you know. And if that takes that long, well then so be it. If I can do a whole bonnet, then so be it. But you need to replace when you need to replace. So hit it with 500 just because it's that little bit coarser. Because if I had gone straight to 800, for starters, you probably wouldn't knock that peel out as much because it's not as coarse, and I would have gone through like a whole box, if not more. Yeah, going by how fast they were dying. I only mixed up 200 mils because they're really, like I say, there's not much to fix in it. What I'm going to do is just get those, hit the spots first, I reckon, just to start getting it covered, and then maybe just 1.5 over the rest just to sort of make it even, and that's going to be it. And then we'll give it a couple of coats of clear. So I did have you can barely see it, but it's just there. Just cover that one up, and then I'm gonna do the chips. There's another one here, there it is. Tiny, but you gotta fix it. I think that's the worst of them. Yeah, there was a few more, but being that they're not jumping out at me now, we'll pick them up with the 1.5 coats we'll do after this. Alright, let's start with our next coat. Yeah, I do seem to remember the last one of these I did. I had to redo it again. There was like 3 or 4 nibs in it, and like you really got to get it right the first time or you're repainting it. It's as simple as that. Because you can't polish. It's a matte finish. You get the buff onto it, it turns shiny. It does feel quite humid. I'm surprised that the humidity is so low. You can nearly leave it in the base coat. It's just about got the same gloss level. Obviously you can't do that. Yeah, definitely. I would not say it's a great color. I would not say it's a great gloss level. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the satin or matte finishes. I'm sure there's plenty of people that love it though. And that's okay. We don't all have to like the same thing. It does feel high humidity, and it feels like it's taken a while to dry too. I decided not to go for the one visit on this job here. Just need the reliability of knowing exactly what's going to happen. But generally I've been a big fan of that PPG one visit. Already wound that in. Come in another touch. That's about it. We ran out of paint too there, right at the end. It's so difficult choosing a gun sometimes. I've got so many bangers up there. But I do find myself like gravitating back towards the DV1 for clear. DV1 C2 for clear, sort of hard to beat. Kind of like I used to feel about the Pro Light until the DV1 C2 did come along. I do prefer the slightly larger fan on the DV1. So it's the 1.3 C2. It's probably been about 5 or so minutes. I'm like 50-50 on whether or not I should tack rag it. I think I did see like a tiny little nib in there, but it's like, are you gonna put more in there by tack ragging it, or? I did see a tiny one, but sometimes you're just better off leaving it. I think we just leave it. On with the F-Ed. I've been getting into a good habit of putting the hood on lately. Oops. So there we go. So yeah, 1.5 bar on the digital equals 2 bar at the base. And that's just because they're reading it from a different position. It's higher up. As the air travels up, the pressure lowers. feels quite thick, this clear. It's a bit thicker than what I'm used to with the 131. Doesn't particularly matter, just an observation. And it shouldn't be the temperature because it's 30 degrees ambient temperature as you saw before. I'm gonna have to give that a few minutes and put another coat on. You sort of know if it's ready by how the matte level starts massing off a bit. But yeah, I'll give it a few minutes. I'll be back in a minute. Alright, so it's literally only been about three or so minutes. You can see that that's sort of flattening off nicely. It will probably stay a touch shinier after the second coat because I'm going to put the second coat on a bit wetter. And how wet you put this stuff on does actually affect the gloss level. It's actually looking very clean. I probably shouldn't have said that. I'll have a big chunk of crap land in it now. There's one in the middle. I did see that. I think we can live with one. Well, I mean, you're going to have to, aren't you? You're not going to repaint the bonnet for one bit of crap and risk getting 5. Maybe we can get a razor blade and just like cut it down a bit, lower the profile. It's a bit orange peely, that thing. Doesn't really want to lay out nice. Maybe I should have heated it up, but I mean it's 30 degrees anyway, so that should not be the issue. That's about all you can do, but look, hey, that will flatten off nice. That orange peel, it'll pretty much disappear when you get the matte finish. I don't even want to hover around this, I just want to walk away. We'll have a look at it once it's done. Let it gas out and then hit bake. There's like one or two, there's one big one and then another smaller one. I think that's a win. So there it is after a bake, guys. Nice and clean, and it had to be. Gloss level is pretty much perfect. As I sort of tried mentioning when we were painting, the orange peel that did appear to come up, it pretty much disappears. Like, I guess it's still technically there, but you just can't see it with the matte finishes. They are definitely a bit more forgiving. And even that one chunk that we did get, which is just here, you pretty much can't see it. Like that is, you would see that if it was a gloss. So it's literally right there where my finger is, right? You can't even see it. But it's one of those things, there's nothing I can do. You're always gonna get one or two nibs, and I literally got one or two. There was a slightly smaller one somewhere which I can't even see anymore, so that's good. But that's it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed watching this video. Hopefully you learned something out of it. If you did, be sure to give us a big thumbs up. Until next time, get out there and paint some shit. Gunman out.